Good afternoon on what is a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Friday the 16th of June. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to continue unboxing. And I've already pulled Upriver, Downriver from the box, which is a storytelling game by McGuffin and Company. Next, I have Cthulhu Confidential, Even Death Can Die, based on the GUMSHOE One-2-One system written by Robin D. Laws. And this is the supplement for Cthulhu Confidential. It's an anthology of scenarios for these three central characters. And what this allows is you to run, basically run and play one player, one keeper adventures for Trail of Cthulhu, which is the role-playing game of Lovecraftian investigative horror published by Pelgrane Press. So, equipped with your smarts, your notebook and your code of honour, you scour city streets in search of its deepest secrets. Even Death Can Die is a adventure collection for Cthulhu Confidential and features 9 twisting, turning adventures in a world both hard-boiled and cosmically horrific. More for the money. Rhino Jones is one tough cookie, and he makes it impossible to turn down a demand to identify the culprit who stole from him and killed his crew. This plunges scholarly World War II vet Langston Wright into a blurred otherworld of corrupt businessmen, Nazi spies, and a deadly weapon prototype. Shadow over Washington. Langston knows that an ancient enemy is rising, but he's trapped a million years away, his body inhabited by an extraterrestrial intelligence. Preacher Man Blues. Langston gets between us a travelling fire and a brimstone preacher and the police who want him silenced. The Howling Fog. Sharp-dressing, straight-talking New York investigative journalist Vivian Sinclair learns a dead Irish hitman's terrifying secret, murder from a distance. Exestoria. Viv gets the scoop on an eldritch mystery emanating from a labour dispute in the Windwater Tunnel. Boundary Waters. Viv's invite to a swank affair aboard a gambling ship puts her on the skittering trail of something creepy and crawly. House Up the Hills. Hardboiled detective Dex Raymond investigates sorcerers, members of LA's business elite, a wave of rat attacks and a child's disappearance. High Voltage Kill. A legendary designer of spark-flinging horror movie props becomes Dex's client when some punk swipes items from the 1931's Frankenstein. Skin and Teeth. The horrifying discovery at the notorious Revelstock Hotel draws Dex into the ancient truth behind a shocking disaster of the recent past. Can you solve these cases with your hide and mind intact? So that's Cthulhu Confidential from Pelgrane Press. And I say, uses the one-to-one GUMSHOE variant. So we open up and front page, and I'm pretty much sure, like the GUMSHOE Confidential book, this is going to be all black and white, but it's going to be a really lovely book. Love that Cthulhu Confidential was a really crisp looking book. So, table of contents, and then we start off with details about alone. Alone essentially is, the idea that, you are going to be alone playing these with your single player character, investigator, and the GM. There's really no real messing about here. You get straight into the first adventure. You've got the stats and details of Langston Montgomery Wright, the first solo protagonist, and the first adventure, one for the money. You start off, you've got a clue tree there, upon which the story is kind of hung, a timeline, and this one's got a section here, how the Tillinghast resonator works. So here we are referencing From Beyond, the Lovecraft story, and that sets everything up, and then we've got the individual scenes. Breakouts here give detailed information for the keeper, and so on all the way through. And there are problems here that The investigator might encounter like police brutality, paper chasing the past, or father, can you help my brother out? And these are all kind of like story beats, as it were. Things like congressman calls, getting involved in politics. Encounters like, you know, sometimes you kind of get rid of a bomb. And a possibility of OSS training, Office of Strategic Services, which was the forerunner of the CIA, and essentially ran secret operations around the world for the United States throughout World War II and beyond until the foundation of the CIA. We've got table of antagonist reactions, and then problem cards. And then edge cards, but these are going to give the protagonist benefits. Then we have the Shadow over Washington, and these are all written by Chris Spivey, who is the author of Harlem Unbound, the highly regarded supplement for Lovecraftian investigative horror. Originally appeared for Call of Cthulhu and Trail of Cthulhu, subsequently for Call of Cthulhu. So Shadow over Washington, spine, timeline, and then explaining it all, how Yithian body swaps occurs. So, you know, that's pretty much hinted at in the back cover blurb. So it's not really that much of a spoiler. You know, if you're a veteran of Lovecraftian investigative horror or of reading Lovecraft's fiction, you will be able to make the connections there. Various scenes. So we got just flipping through individual scenes. I mean, not because there's not a huge amount of artwork. There's not the most immediate things that jump out, but there's occasional good pieces of artwork. And then, you know, we have things like tags here like a million years before racism, because Langston Wright is a man of colour, person of colour, and so has to deal with the racism of even you know, of Washington DC during the 1940s. So, and here we come down to, you know, literally out of bounds, running out of time, antagonist reactions, Shadow over Washington problem cards, and there's quite a lot of those, and then edge cards, and so on. It's going to do the same exactly for each of them. Then we have Preacher Man Blues, and these all feel quite, if not pulpy, in terms of play style, at least kind of noirish. So less obvious. This is less obvious, so on, than as to quite what's going on in its setup. You know, there's no big box saying, you know, how Yithian body possession works. So you've got that one, and then flipping through, we have just flip forward, because these are all very similar in their look. But I mean, you know, showing you this again, these pages looking very similar. They are very clean, very easy to read from, and look very crisp and tidy. And then we switch to the female character, Vivian Sinclair, and the New York of her time period, because the time periods are all slightly different. So Langston Wright is 40s Washington DC. Vivian Sinclair is late 30s New York. And here we have her sheet, and then her first scenario, The Howling Fog. Similarly, timeline, we have summoning a hound, so doubtless this is going to involve a Hound of Tindalos, and a nice nod to the noir, film noir genre. We have Dial H for harassment. And then flipping through the next scenario, you know, same format as previously. Antagonist reactions at the end. Problem cards for the scenario. Edge cards as well. Before we get on to the next scenario, which is Ex Astoria. Timeline, cast, and we have a map of the Wynn Water Tunnel. And anytime you kind of go water tunnel and water tunnel and New York, you're thinking, oh, it's a bit like that Die Hard film, Die Harder. Then it's probably very not like that, but would be an interesting parallels to draw from. Again, we come down to the end. We've got a bit of an appendix there, which is you know, a little bit of extra content, Ex Astoria, problem cards, edge cards, and so on. Boundary Waters, carrying on almost like a water theme, and this is the one. This is 1938, set aboard a gambling ship. So you know, you've got like a closed environment for this. You know, a vessel. And things you can do, board things. Scene, say for example, breaking into the captain's cabin. Or breaking into the German's cabin. Yeah. So how many cabins does the investigator have to search through? There's no deck plans that I can see, but we have strange things to encounter, as you would expect. Antagonists, problem cards, edge cards, before we step on through to the trilogy of the third character in here, Dex Raymond, hardball detective in Los Angeles. The absolute classic location for detective fiction, as it were, like hard-boiled anyway. So, house up in the hills. And we have a nice sort of shot of Dex's office with the lettering on the door. Very much Sam Spade, Maltese Falcon. And of course, there's a house, and there's going to be something weird about this house. And then blood and seeing the rot things. Okay, so shifting forward. And the question is, denouement or crime code? I mean, you know, how does it end? We've got antagonist reactions, problem cards, edge cards, and then the next scenario, high voltage kill. And this is very kind of a sort of like hard-boiled title. Here we have, there we go. There's the antagonists for this story. So again, possession, strange aliens, facing down the Mygo perhaps. Ending the scenario as the traditional, you're going to get edges, problem cards, and the third and final scenario, skin and teeth. And here we have it, timeline. And really it's not as obvious what this one is about, but we have the Water Commission. So, you know, Water Commission, you think Chinatown, the dams, the water supply to the city perhaps. Who knows, right? Basically, once you get into the scenario. And we have the scales beneath the skin, which could involve the serpent people, for example, and perhaps it's a suggestion there with that image and there is mention of Yig as well, so definitely a snake cult involved, I would suggest. So we even have Serpent Woman Scuffle. I was going to hope that was going to be Serpent Woman Shuffle, but I'm a little bit disappointed, but there we go. So yeah, that's everything you need to run 3 sets of 3 scenarios for 3 different protagonists in a one-on-one series of sessions with your single player. Cthulhu Confidential, Even Death Can Die, published by Pelgrane Publishing. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book, which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching an unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.